Hello, welcome to the channel. I'm Harrison. Grab your pencils, pencil sketchbooks, and let's visualize what we're drawing, because today we are drawing the eyeball. Welcome back to another Tutorial Tuesday. Today we are drawing the eyeball. We are, like always, going to be starting from easiest to hardest, just giving you every scenario that we can possibly imagine when it comes to drawing the eye. Eyes can be simple, eyes can be difficult, they can be anything in between. So eyes are easy yet difficult. Well, why are they easy? Because they're circles. And why are they hard? Well, because they're very specific. So what we're gonna do is let's just start as easiest as we can. We're gonna start with a front on eye, and what we need to do that, start with a circle. Go ahead and draw a circle anywhere on your paper. Now what we can do next is divide our circle in half and then half again into quarters. This will give us our center point for the pupil, which is just a circle. From there, what we can do is pretty much cut this top half circle in half. You're gonna start from just a little bit outside of our initial circle and just make a semicircle through and end up on the outside of that as well. You're gonna then mirror that same shape on the other half. We are creating our eyelids, and then inside of this we can add our iris, which is another circle. Now you don't want the circle to be completely visible, you kind of want it to be behind that eyelid. I mean, it also depends on how open the eye is, but a natural resting eye doesn't have the full iris visible. So you just want to draw another circle in there. And then we can add the fold to the eyelid. And the bottom eyelid. Now let's start building this up. So, just to break it down ever so slightly, just to show you what's happening here with this, is your eyeball is actually a big round circle inside of your skull. We only really see the iris and your pupil and maybe a little tiny bit of the whites of the eye. Otherwise you have, I think it's like a ping pong size, if I'm not mistaken. I think, you have that inside your skull. Like, if you feel you're around your ocular cavity, I mean, it's a pretty big opening. Your eyeball fills in, for the most part, fills inside that socket, and we only see what our eyelids allow us to see. Otherwise, you do have this big circle. So when I say that the eye is really easy, I mean, it really is, because it's circles and then you're just blocking off what we're seeing. If you think about your eye as a big ping pong ball and then you're just creating a window for it to look through, hopefully that will help you have a better understanding of how to break down the eye. Now, before we get into the details, let me clean this up with the 6B pencil. Just really show you what we're working with here. All right, so here is our cleaned up line work of the eye. Now, the next thing we can do to kind of define it is give it a little bit of some shading for the eyelashes. When illustrating, less is more with eyelashes. Unless you're drawing a female character, I would say, keep your eyelids, pretty tame for male characters. I would say even this is kind of overkill. But I can show you how simply we can change it to be a female character just by adding a few lines and showing some eyelashes. It's pretty much all it takes to achieve a female eye. Obviously, the more you add, the more feminine the eye will look. Sometimes you can really go overkill, so truthfully, less is more, especially when it comes to eyelashes. It's just one of those things that you have to play around with. You will know when you go overboard because you'll look at your drawing and it won't look right. You're like, there's plenty of eyelashes there, but something's wrong. The brain sees different things in different ways, and we all know how to process what's what, and sometimes less information is more because we naturally fill in all of that information on our own. So sometimes just a few eyelashes will do the trick. Unless you're going for hyper-realism, then you gotta add them all. Now the last little bit of thing that I would do here on this eye is just add in the reflection, and then depending on the style that I'm trying to emulate, I might just, you know, just shade that in. I mean, you can get really detailed. Again, this is just a simple illustration, but if you wanted to, you could add, like, you know, the different parts of the iris and all the muscles and stuff inside, but that's, you know, if you want to get super hyper detailed. And then we didn't leave enough room, but your eyebrow is roughly the same space above than your eyelid. So we can safely assume that if that's the nose, the eyebrow is right about there, and it should just go past right there. And there is our eye. Boom. Easy peasy. Let's move on. Now, moving on, we are going to do the eye in profile. So, go ahead and start with a circle. And we're going to cut this in half, but cut it in half horizontally. So the next part we're gonna do is add in our iris. The easiest way to do this is we're just going to pretty much create Pac-Man. I don't know how else to describe it. It's just gonna look like Pac-Man. So about a quarter, what is that, a third? Yeah, probably a third of the way up. We are going to create a triangle, and then you're going to do that same angle down there. We're pretty much creating a 90-degree, maybe 45-degree angle. And then you're going to just make Pac-Man. Next, we will create a bulge. So your eyeball kind of comes out a little bit. So your eyeball kind of, not really drastically protrudes out, but it does come outside, and your eyelid like folds over it. You don't want just a flat ball. Your eyeball is not just a smooth round surface inside. Like your iris has some bulge to it, so we want to portray that a little, ever so slightly. It's not like a big hill, big bump or anything, but there is some slight areas raised there. And then what we'll do next is draw the iris, which is just like a curved semicircle. And at the very, very edge, we draw the pupil, and then find our eyebrow line. Switch pencils so that we can start defining some of these shapes. So starting here, let's go ahead and we'll draw someone with some eyelashes. Gotta get your eyelid in there, your bottom eyelid, and then the eyebrow. And then all of this will get erased, so that you're left with just this, and then your nose would be, you know, you'd have like the, you know, your nose would be right there, and you could then add all the other details and stuff of your face. That is profile. Now moving on to our last example, which, you know, is probably the most tough of the three. If you found front on and side view easy, you'll most likely find 3/4 view very easy. All right, now we're gonna look at a 3/4 view eyeball. So someone kind of looking off, maybe they're ignoring you, maybe they happen to catch something out of the corner of their eye and look over. It's not head on, it's not completely profile, it's just kind of right there in the middle. So again, go ahead and draw a circle. It looks like a clown that is trying to look in two different places with two eyebrows that don't exactly match.
Oh, well, I'm Pennywise the dancing clown.
Anyway, for this one, we're going to cut the circle in half, but we're not going to cut it into equal quarters. We want to cut it into quarters, but the line is going to be off on the right side. Again, we're going to draw in our pupil. And then the next part where some of this difficulty starts to play in is we are going to build the eyelid. And because it's on an angle, this is where the difficulty comes into play. So starting at the back, we are going to start here just outside of the circle, work our way up and over, staying inside of this circle. So going up, in, you want this to be a bit shallow and this line to be wider, like we're pretty much creating an obtuse triangle there. Now on this side, we're gonna start pretty much where this one ended and then work our way down and around. So almost the same shape, just a little bit more widened. Again, we're gonna draw in that circle for our iris. So to help us sell that 3/4 view, we're gonna give the brow line, which is this line right here. And then we'll indicate the eyebrow. Now switching over to my 6B, let's tighten up some of these lines. And that, my friends, is the 3/4 view of the eye. What I can do really quick is we'll go ahead and add in that highlight. Forgot to do that over here as well. And that's it. That's how to draw the eye. These are pretty much the main 3 poses of the eye that you're gonna see and need to know how to draw. You know, just like the other couple of series I've been doing, showing you how to quickly draw an eye. The quickest way that I would ever draw an eye, I probably would stick to this. This is like my realism style. If I'm drawing anything more realistic than this, then I am going to be spending a lot of time. on it, which for me, I don't like super hyper realism, so this is for me my realistic style. But typically what I'm gonna do drawing an eye is draw a circle, find my shape, and then draw an eyebrow. That's how I'm drawing my eyes. Maybe I'll add it like an eyelid or something in there, but typically I'm not getting real fancy. I have characters that their eye is literally, that's their eye. It's literally a line with a ball underneath, and you know, an eyelid. Eyes are whatever you make them. They can be whatever you want. They can be hyper realistic, they can be insanely cartoony. I mean, look at Mickey Mouse. His eyes are literally, that's Mickey Mouse's eye. There you go. You know, eyes are whatever you want them to be, as long as we understand what we're looking at. Or if you want them to be super cartoony or super hyper realistic, all of these principles that I showed you today, how to draw them front, profile, 3/4, all apply to whatever decision you're making. Now that I'm looking at this guy, it looks like a pig, so that's kind of cool.
He doesn't like you.
Sorry.
I don't like you either.
And this, my friends, is how to draw the eye. 3 different ways. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. I certainly did. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. And then once you do, hit that bell notification so you know when I upload the next Tutorial Tuesday. If you've been following along with the Tutorial Tuesday, I would love to see all the work that you're up to. Please tag me in all of your social media posts. You can tag me on them on Instagram and TikTok, comment your photos. I will be happy to review them, give you feedback, whatever you need to help you learn how to draw better. I will help you. That's what I am here to do. And on that note, if there is something that you would like to see on this channel that I am not showing or have not yet shown, please drop that into the comments, because I want you to be able to draw the things that you want to draw. Thank you again for joining me on another Tuesday. It was so much fun. I will see you right here in 2 weeks for the next tutorial. Bye, guys.